At the beginning of the film, we observe a woman getting off a subway car. At the same time, young Frances, who works as a waitress in a restaurant, goes down to the underground and starts reading a book. At her stop, the girl notices a purse forgotten by someone. Frances decides to pick it up in order to find the owner. Inside, she discovers a license in Greta's name. Frances returns home and tells her friend about her find. Erica thinks that they should use the find for their own purposes. However, Frances doesn't agree with her friend. She wants to return both the purse and the money inside. In the evening, the girls go to the cinema. Frances is sad because she used to go to the cinema with her mother, but she has recently passed away. Erica tries to cheer her up. The next day, as promised, Frances goes to see the woman who has lost her purse. Greta turns out to be very kind and grateful, so she invites the girl to her house for a cup of coffee. Frances tells her that she has come to New York to study and now lives with a friend. The conversation is suddenly interrupted by a noise. Greta apologizes and explains that her neighbors are currently renovating. The woman says she moved from France with her husband and daughter, Nicola. However, Greta's husband passed away not long ago. It was he who taught the woman to play the piano. Sitting down at the instrument, Greta says that after the loss of loved ones, only dreams and memories remain. Frances, who has recently lost her mother, is sensitive to these words. Greta also mentions that she used to have a dog. Frances suggests that the woman get a new one so it won't be so lonely. Greta promises to think about it and exchanges phone numbers with the girl. In the evening, Erica is talking about her unusual experience when suddenly the phone rings. Frances talks to her new acquaintance and learns that she has decided to get a dog after all. The girl agrees to go with Greta to the shelter and choose a pet, which alarms her friend. Soon, Frances sees the woman again. Greta decides of a dog that was soon to be put to sleep, which impresses the girl. After the purchase, the woman decides to go for a walk in the park. Greta says that she has almost no knowledge of technology and asks the girl to take her picture. During the conversation, Frances confesses that she lost her mother not so long ago. Greta comforts the girl and asks her to keep all the memories in her heart. At home, the woman sits down at her laptop and looks at Frances's photos on social networks. Greta continues to see the girl, and their communication grows into friendship. During one of their walks, the woman chats on the phone with Nicola. Greta tells her that her daughter is studying at the Paris Conservatory. Soon, Erica invites the girl to a party. Frances refuses, as she has already agreed to have dinner with Greta. The friend criticizes the girl because she thinks that she has found a second mother in the person of Greta, although she doesn't know her at all. Frances is offended by these words and leaves for dinner. The girl cooks with Greta to French music and enjoys a cozy evening. Frances decides to open one of the cupboards to find candles. The girl suddenly discovers many purses similar to the one she found in the underground. They are also labeled with stickers with the phone numbers of the girls who return the missing items to Greta. Frances is horrified. She runs away from dinner and tells all her friend. Erica also finds Greta's behavior rather terribly. The next day, Frances is driving to work when she receives a phone call from a woman. At work, the girl sees that Greta has left her a lot of messages. The woman even comes to Frances' workplace. The girl tells Greta that she found her purses and guesses that she is purposely leaving them all over town. Frances decides to end the friendship and asks the woman not to write or call her anymore. Greta doesn't give up. She sends the girl voice messages and even sends her flowers. During the work, Frances notices a woman standing silently on the other side of the street. The girl calls the police, but it proves futile. The officer explains that Greta has every right to stand on the street and look at whoever she wants. The man advises Frances to ignore these provocations. Greta follows the girl on the underground and even outside her flat. The woman offers to just talk and start over. When the girl refuses, Greta spits gum at her and leaves. Frances is distraught as she continues to worry about the dog that the woman took from the shelter. The girl decides to sneak to Greta's house and sees the woman walking her pet. However, it didn't calm her down, and she decides to contact the woman's daughter, Nicola. The girl returns home one evening, looking around fearfully at every corner. A friend calls Frances to the bar, but she refuses. Soon a phone call rings in the house. Frances talks to her father, who offers to go somewhere together. Soon the girl starts receiving photos from Greta. It turns out that the woman is following Erica. Frances's friend tries to escape from the pursuit, but all in vain. The girl picks Erica up in a taxi and calms her down. The friend thinks that Greta should be complained to the police again. Soon, Frances receives a call back from a girl who wants to talk about Nicola. At the cafe, she introduces herself as Alexis and says they are going to have a tough conversation. Alexis informs her that Nicola is not alive. The girl took her own life 4 years ago because of Greta's tyranny. The woman forced Nicola to play the piano until she was blistered and locked she in a box if she disobeyed. Also, Greta lied about coming from France because in fact her family lived in Hungary. Frances is horrified by this story. In the evening, the girl goes to work, where she sees Greta. The woman insists that she has a reservation and is entitled to be served. However, Greta soon loses her temper and almost attacks the girl. The ambulance takes the woman to the hospital, but a couple of days later, Frances learns that she has already been released, attributing everything to a normal nervous breakdown. The girl's father learns from Erica what has happened. Frances tells her friend that her father is very concerned. Chris even wants to take the girl away for a while so that Greta can calm down and forget about her. Erica also suggests that they go on a trip together. Frances hesitates, as Greta will continue to look for them when they return. Erica proposes that the girl visit Greta and lie to her that they need to think about everything and not see each other for a while. Frances has to pretend that she's the problem. The girl agrees to Erica's scheme. Soon, Frances goes to the woman's house to talk. The girl manages to catch Greta at church. Frances talks to the woman and promises that after her departure and reflection, they will meet again. At home, Greta decides to poison the dog. She guessed that the girl lied to her. Frances, on the other hand, continues to live as if nothing had happened. One day, the girl comes home and decides to have coffee. Frances suddenly feels bad and realizes that the flat has been broken into. Greta, who put something in the drink, takes the girl to her home in a taxi, pretending that it is her daughter. In a half-sleep, Frances sees a woman pushing the piano away. Behind it is a secret room, where Greta drags the girl. The woman locks Frances in a box and says that they will never part again. The girl wakes up in her flat and realizes that she has had a nightmare. Outside, Frances sees her father waiting for her to take her on a trip. The girl decides to take the lift downstairs, but everything starts to narrow. Frances is startled awake, this time for real. The girl realizes that she has been locked in a box and screams exhaustedly. Greta opens the box and reprimands her captive for lying about leaving. The woman leaves the lid open, allowing Frances to look round the room. The girl cries and tries to get out, but Greta nonchalantly continues to play the piano. Frances finds one girl's ID and belongings and cries, realizing that she is not the first prisoner here. Greta, on the other hand, sends Erica a message from the girl's phone, as well as her father. Both think Frances is with someone. Chris is sure the daughter is with her friend, and Erica is sure she's with her father. Greta, meanwhile, is giving the girl piano lessons, being a strict teacher. Chris visits Erica's flat, and they guess that Frances is missing. The man decides to go to the police to find out about Greta. The woman, meanwhile, continues to interact with Frances as if she were her daughter. One day, while cooking, the girl uses a biscuit mold to cut off Greta's little finger and stuns her with a rolling pin. Frances tries to escape through the basement and discovers the woman's previous victim there. Greta regains consciousness and calms the girl down again. The woman puts Frances in the bath and puts on a glove herself to hide the mutilation. Greta is soon visited by a policeman hired by Chris. To drown out the noise from Frances, the woman turns on music, but the policeman still guesses about the secret door. Greta injects him with a sedative and then takes his life. The woman takes him down to the basement and tells Frances that her attempts to escape her loneliness by unfolding purses have finally succeeded. Despite the fact that Greta already has a replacement for Nicola, she continues to leave her belongings on the underground. Soon, the purse is found by another girl. Almost immediately, she goes to Greta's house, who treats her to coffee. Frances hears a noise and tries to draw attention to it. However, Greta, as at their first meeting, attending the strange noise by a neighbor's renovation. Greta's guest tells her that she is going to become a model. The woman asks a lot of questions, but unexpectedly drops her coffee cup. Returning with a towel, Greta feels strange. Then her guest takes off her wig and says she's even tired of looking for her purse on the underground. Erica reveals that she adds something to Greta's coffee to save Frances. Soon, a friend guesses the secret door behind the piano. Erica opens it and hugs the crying girl, who is no longer hopeful of rescue. Greta switches on the record player, distracting her friend's attention, and then attacks Frances. Soon, the woman loses consciousness again, and Frances offers to lock her in a box, covering it with a statue of the Eiffel Tower. The girls leave Greta's flat, not seeing that the woman is trying in vain to get out of the box. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like, write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.